All right, hello everyone. Welcome to How to Take Control of the Hidden Profits in Your Healthcare Website. My name is Jody Underhill. I will be your host during the training. Let me open up my audio box here and make sure that it is registering. Cool. All right. As we go through here, we got a bunch of people still hopping on. I'm going to go through a couple of housekeeping things very quickly so that you can get the best use out of the information that I'm going to be sharing with you. The first thing is, over on the right-hand side of your computer screen should be the GoToWebinar control panel. It may be in your bottom dock, it may be over to the right, but there in where that control panel is, there's a little gray bar that says questions. And where that gray bar is, that's whenever I ask you questions or ask you to do, I'm going to do some call and respond, that's where you put the information in. Also, if you happen to have any questions, you'll be more than happy to put those in. So if somebody would please just, or everybody, put a 1 and a yes in the box, let me know that you can hear my voice and you can see my screen, and we can go ahead and get started with the webinar. All right, I got a couple ones coming in. Anyone else? All right, so tell me where you're from when you're coming in here, because sometimes I look at this, there's cities that there's the same city in different places, and I make the assumption that it's the city that I think it should be. Like, for instance, there's a Jacksonville on here. Is it Jacksonville, Florida, Jacksonville, North Carolina? Where are you guys coming in from today? All right, let's see. We got Eastside Vision, great. Homeland Medical, Right Way Chiro, got a bunch of different medical practices in here. Cool. So as we get started and as we go, I want to ask you a question, and that is, we can go a couple of different ways on the training. I have my set agenda, what I'm planning on sharing, but tell me, what is the biggest challenge that you wind up having whenever it comes to marketing for your medical practice? I don't care if it's eye care, chiropractic care, LASIK eye care, vascular surgery, all of those. What is it that you struggle with? I got Novaderm from Virginia. Thanks for that. What is the area that you struggle with the most? And as you put those in here, I'm going to go ahead and get started on what we're going to cover, but I have some flexibility here in making sure that I still get the information to you, but also meet the need, the greatest need that you have whenever it comes to your medical practice. So what we're going to cover on today's training is, just like it was billed in the emails that went out, we're going to look at how to take control of your marketing and set up an online sales machine to bring in new patients like clockwork. We're also going to look at why the number one thing that your practice needs probably isn't working well right now. We're going to look at the most important thing you need to know about your website visitors and how to grab the attention of those website visitors and build trust in the process. That's a new concept for most people, and it's not that you don't want people to trust you or you don't think that trust is important. It's that most of the time, whenever somebody's putting a website together, all they're thinking about is get the information about the services out there, not necessarily about positioning your practice in a way that gives them that know, like, and trust you feel. And there's some ways that you can go about doing that. Also, we're going to look at how to create offers that convert visitors into booked service appointments. Right off the bat here, I'm not here to sell you any services. I'm not here to sell you really anything whenever it comes to providing you with any type of service. I'm here to train you, to give you some information that you can take and put to use in your practice right away. So in looking at the first part, we kind of have a nucleus here, and this is how we're going to go about sharing the information with you today and the order that we're going to do it in. And again, anything that you would like to have addressed, put that in there. We'll be more than happy to talk about it. The first is web presence and automation. Everybody has a website. I get it. And I said, this isn't about selling you a website. That's not what this is about. And the automation aspect of is where some people seem to be not quite as far along as they could be. We're going to look at traffic sources, and I'm going to give you some things whenever it comes to traffic of how you can start to get more traffic for your web presence than you're currently getting without having to spend a bunch of money on paid advertising. There's a couple of things that you can do that most people think they're doing a good job at, but there's a lot of room for improvement. No matter, even if you're not doing it, even if you're paying someone to do it, I'm going to show you some things that you want to bring to their attention. We're going to look at reputation. Okay, whenever it comes to healthcare, reputation is key. It's very critical because people are entrusting you with their health. And then we're going to look at the social side of things, because when it comes to social, like it or not, love it or hate it, it is a big part of everything that we currently have to do online. So have you ever wondered what the mega successful practices know that others don't? Well, if you look at it, it's easier to explain with this quick story about two doctors. Once upon a time, there were two doctors. Both graduated from the same program. They were better than average students. They worked 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and they recently attended their college reunion. Now, whenever they did, they both were still a lot like, excuse me, they both were still a lot like each other. Both were happily married, both had 3 children, and both owned and operated their own practice. And when they met, that was where the similarities ended, because one was running a small practice, struggling to bring in enough cash flow to keep themselves and their staff busy, and the other was growing in leaps and bounds, enjoying a steady stream of new affluent patients every single day. I see this again and again whenever it comes to working with healthcare practices. It's usually one extreme or the other. They're either growing by leaps and bounds and needing to go to a new building or struggling to keep the doors open. So when that's in that case, what happened? Well, they said the two doctors got the same grades, they put in the same hours, and they had the same ambition. So at the end of the day, what it comes down to is it's not time, money, or skill. So what is it that makes the difference? What is it that the mega successful practices know that others don't? Well, it's information. And a lot of people say information, is the key. Well, it's actually the implementation of the information that makes the difference, because there's not anything new under the sun out there typically, except I'm going to show you some things that are new simply because things have changed recently. And the information I'm about to share has really never been revealed publicly before other than in this forum. The road to success, whenever it comes to building a practice and increasing the flow of patients coming in online, the steps are very much systematic. It's almost as simple as following a roadmap. As long as you're doing the right things in the right order, you can't help but get to the destination that you're looking to get to, unless you're not really sure of where to start or how to read the map, which is what happens sometimes. Because look, the only thing you should entrust your practice growth to is a bulletproof system. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. And again, these are things that you can take. It doesn't matter if you're the most seasoned doctor on here, or if you're one of the staff members that's responsible for implementing the marketing, or if you happen to be an agency that does marketing for medical practices. This information is going to be valuable, and it's going to be something that you can put into place and start working with immediately. Because the thing is, we look at it, what's the most important thing that a practice needs to start capturing more business online? Now, if your practice is in a position that you don't need more business, that's fine. You can probably go ahead and jump off the webinar now, because that's what our focus is going to be on, how to bring more patients in, utilizing online strategies. So let's see, we have here, see, Dr. Connie says emails. Well, emails is important, but that's kind of the second step. But what do you have to have in place in order to get those emails? Another one here says social media. Yes, social media is important, but actually they said Facebook. I said social media. Facebook is important, social media, all aspects of social media, but it's not the most important. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and give it to you. It's having a high converting website or landing page. Now, before you go, okay, I got a website, I'm out of here. No. Not the way we're going to be talking about it. Yes, you have a website. Every business has a website. I get that. But is it high converting? Most of the time, you'll find that they typically are not. So with that, as we continue on, online marketing has changed more in the last 18 months than the last several years. That's why the information I'm going to be sharing with you is so relevant right now, because it's the things that have changed most people don't realize. Let's see. Pearline got it. Pearline Professional said website. Yep, that's what we do. It's a website, but it's high converting website. Here's the thing. 57% of all US online traffic now comes from mobile devices. All right. If you're in Canada, which we have people here on Canada, from the UK, we have people here from all over. Just because it says US, it's the same basically no matter where you're at. Matter of fact, some places more than 57% of the online traffic comes from mobile devices. A lot more. Also, 88% of consumers who search for a type of business on a mobile device call or go to that business within 24 hours. Why is that? because we're purchase-driven consumers. We're on the phone all the time. And before you jump to the conclusion of, okay, this is about a mobile website, now everyone's website today has been mobile optimized, right? There's very few businesses where you have to click and zoom. But for those that don't, nearly 8 in 10 customers say they would stop engaging with content that doesn't display well on their device. And while you may have heard those things before, here's something that you may not have heard. And that is that with almost 60% of users on mobile, scrolling is more convenient with a thumb. Clicking is not. Scrolling is more intuitive because of social media sites like Facebook and e-commerce stores like Amazon. So their training is basically how we're consuming. If you look at a millennial, I have a 13-year-old daughter. When she looks at her phone, basically she does everything on it, right? And we scroll up and down. All the different sites have taught us to do that. If your website, if you have to click a menu and click here and click there, that's where you're starting to lose people. And I'm going to show you exactly why that is and what you can do to fix it as we go through here. But this is why the number one thing a practice needs doesn't work. And that is, when you look at the very definition of it, oh, how did I skip past here? I got to hit another button here, sorry. A website is a group of pages online that usually contain hyperlinks to each other that are devoted to a single topic or several closely related topics, blah, blah, blah. As boring as can be. And that's because the websites today are like brochures. They usually aren't designed to do anything except sit there and be read. And we know what happens to most brochures, right? They wind up in the trash can. When's the last time you made a decision or contacted someone from a brochure? It doesn't happen. It's so important because this is where all the elements that have led someone to you culminate with them choosing to do business with you. But most healthcare websites are like a bucket with a bunch of holes in it that's very leaky. You lose the majority of the people that ever come to the website. You do a lot of work. You put time, money, and energy into all the different things to get someone to find you. You have YouTube videos, Facebook, Google ads, your Google Maps location, your Twitter, email, other social media aspects, a penny saver, trade shows, radio, TV, whatever you're doing, it's all in an effort, to get them to that point. But when you send someone to a website, sending a prospect to your website is like taking a hungry person and dropping them in the middle of Walmart. There's too many things that they can choose to do other than take the action that you want them to do. And they may make their way over to the food section, which is what you want them to do, or they may get distracted by other sections of the store. That is all those buttons and all the other places you have for them to click on to go to, or they may walk out empty-handed. And here's what I was talking about as far as the statistics for medical, and that is about did you know that the best websites in your industry are only getting about 3% of their website visitors to contact them? That means 97% of your website visitors are leaving without converting, right? And they have no intention of returning. Most of them don't even know how they got there in the first place because they don't keep track of that. So what do we want to do? We don't want visitors to just read. We want them to take action and convert into patients. So remember, I told you I was going to tell you what the number one thing you need to know about them is. Here's the thing. We all remember three TV stations and 2-minute commercials. Well, I say we all. Maybe not everybody does. Some of you may only remember 57 channels. But the thing is that we were a captive audience. Today, with social and cell phones, our attention is everywhere, which means it's nowhere. So we have to grab their attention. See, in the year 2000, we had 20 seconds to capture someone's attention. 2018 studies show that now you only have 8 seconds. And the reason the goldfish is there is because that's 1 second less than a goldfish's attention span. It's no wonder. It's called a bounce rate. When they get to a website and leave, the majority of people leave within 8 seconds of getting to the website unless there's something there to grab their attention. So how do you break through in less than 8 seconds? Well, we've always heard content is king, but it's not really. Do you really want to go to a website with a whole bunch of content? Or do you want to go to a website that has design elements in it that are appealing to you, that cause you to want to take action? See, our brain processes visuals 60,000 times faster than reading. And I know my website has a lot of pictures on it. That's great. But what are the pictures doing? What are they telling them to? Have you noticed the visuals that have been on these slides? What's happening with each of the people? So a picture's worth 1,000 words. And Elizabeth Silence did a research project specifically about the trust and mistrust of online health sites. And looking at it, they looked at 15 women that were faced with a risky health decision were observed while researching the internet for information and advice over 4 consecutive weeks. They discussed their first impression of a website and what led them to reject the website, wherein design appeal predicted rejection, mistrust, and credibility of information. So it doesn't matter how great the information is, if the design is not on point, they don't trust it. 94% cited design, yeah, I know it's spelled wrong, and 6% cited content in relation to the number of times they rejected a site. This is specifically health sites. So even with that, even though it's the information that we're making a decision on our health, it still has to be designed good in order for us to want to engage with it. The trust and value are why we buy. Good design builds trust. I know it sounds kind of hokey, but the thing is that if it's not designed properly, people aren't going to trust it. And good design is part of your reputation. And fair or not fair, it's just really how it is today. Because both online and offline, you have to look at the fact, does your brand inspire trust? Because it's the story your market believes about the product's expertise and the value that you offer. Here's the thing. You have a digital footprint and you have a digital shadow. Your digital footprint is just like when you're walking on the beach, you control where your footprints go, right? You put your footprints there, it's where you walk. That your digital footprint is what you put online about yourself. Your digital shadow is what others are saying about you. You can't control your shadow. It just gets cast based on where you are in relation to the sun. You might be able to move to make it different, but you can't control it. So this is where most businesses start. They want to put everything they can in there. Let's just throw everything in there. And because the more product, the more stuff, the more information we have, the more likelihood there is of somebody to take an action. But what businesses really want is this. It's got to be high level. It's got to be designed very well. That you want to walk in and feel like they're walking into a very high-end location. Same thing happens with a website. Most businesses start here. And this is an actual website that I took a screenshot of just a day or so ago. This is about the services. Look how many places they can click and move around. Is it no wonder that people don't stick around? Well, this is what I say businesses want this. This is what businesses need. Something that's very clear and concise. And yes, there are places for them to click here, but I'm going to show you where they go when they click these buttons and why it lends itself to continuing to push them into becoming a patient. So let me go over here. Again, we want them to take action, not just read. So what are the 4 actions we want a visitor to take? Go ahead and tell me, what do you want someone to do whenever they get to your website? Most people just assume that when people get to their website that they're going to take the action they want them to. But what is the action you want somebody to take when they get there? Go ahead and let me know what that is. Think just a second. What do you want them to do when you have a website? So what is it you want them to do? This eludes a lot of people because I run ads. I run ads on Facebook and it just didn't work very well. Really? Where'd you send them? Send them to my website. What did you want? Okay, so what did you want them to do when they got there? And that's where the thought process stops. All right, so Heartland says, call me. Let's see, Dr. Smiles, I like that, says book an appointment. All right, those are a couple of things they can do, but really the actions we want them to take is a click, right? That's the first step, getting them to make a click. And when they make a click, it takes them to the ability to be able to subscribe or opt in. We also can get them to call, and the ultimate is to place an order. And yes, you can even get them to place an order before they ever come into your practice. We're going to talk about how to do that. But the thing is, before they will take any of these actions, they want to have these questions. First, will this solve my problem? A lot of times before they come to you, before they go to find your website, it's event driven, right? It's event driven. Something's happened. They need to get their eyes checked, or they have a toothache, or it's time to get their teeth cleaned and they're in a new location. It's event driven type things that happen. The second is, do I have to decide now, right? If I have to, the thing is, no urgency means no action. Put something in front of them that causes them to want that's so important that they need to go ahead and take advantage of it now and not leave because they may never get the ability to do it again. It's called a high converting offer, something that's going to give them the ability to take advantage of your services at a very inexpensive first step. And we're going to talk about what we call that in just a little bit. Number 3 is, am I getting the best? How do they know? How can you position yourself and tell them that they're getting the best without you being the one that says it? It's the same thing with, am I going to regret this? The number 3 and number 4 get answered with the exact same thing, and that is what other people are saying about your practice. What are the, because everybody's, I love that when I talk to people, well, we depend on word of mouth referrals. Perfect. If you depend on word of mouth referrals, how does that happen? Would you be willing to take a word of mouth referral for someone who didn't actually talk to the person, but the person found the information of how great they thought your practice was and chose you because of that? It's called a testimonial. It's called an online review. And then finally, am I paying a good price? Whenever it comes to answering those questions, when you look at it, what's the number 1 tool a practice has to get conversions? Now, I'm not going to ask you to put it in the box because it's different than what you might think. The number 1 tool that you have, believe it or not, is your story. People want to know about you. They want to know how you got into this. So like an example of my story, why am I the guy that's on here sharing this with you? Well, I worked for the power company in Florida for over 20 years. I got tired of doing that. I was an executive with the company, and I decided I wanted to help local businesses. So I started doing marketing. And I got very good very quickly, used some specific tools, and got recognized in the industry as one of the biggest, fastest growing practice agencies in the country. And from that, got invited to speak around the world, and also then wound up becoming the president of one of the largest digital marketing companies in the world. But when I did that, although I was making a lot of money, I still felt unfulfilled than I did whenever I was working with local businesses. So I stepped back into helping local business. Notice I don't say small. When I was at the power company, we had a whole division called SMB, small medium business. I don't look at it as small and medium because small seems insignificant, and local businesses are not insignificant. They're the lifeblood of the country. And most practices are in that local aspect, because unless you're on TV, most of your patients are coming within a driving radius of your offices. What's the number 2 tool a practice uses to get conversions? It's being able to test one offer against another. So how do you tell your story with a beginning, and middle, and end with a 10-page plus website? And how do you split test a 10+ page website? The thing is the 2 most important things you need to get web pages to convert better really isn't possible right now. It's not your fault. It's just the way things have been designed. That's why we look at things as far as building a brand site website funnel. And again, I'm not trying to sell you a brand site website funnel. I'm just telling you how it works and why it's different and why it overcomes the whole goldfish thing. Okay, so just stick with me. This is something you can do on your own if you want to. I'm going to give you all the pieces to be able to do this. The funnel is designed to move a visitor into the sales process. It tells a story with a beginning, and middle, and end that helps the visitor make a decision to choose you. And I know when it says sales process, sometimes that can rub some medical professionals the wrong way. We're not salespeople. But the fact is that most people on here, and most of the practices on here, not all of your services are completely covered by insurance. So the person is making a decision to come to you based on the value that they're going to be getting. And you have to basically sell them on why they should be choosing you over the competition. So it still is a sales process. So again, your brand is your story that your market believes about you. So you start off with visitors who are looking for products and services, and they come into a funnel where they start to understand and hear your story. They hear why you're different than the competition. Because if they only knew how much you care and how much you pride yourself in what it is that you do, and how much the people that work with you and that come to you and that are your patients love you, they couldn't help but choose you over the competition. Then, of course, you have to share with them about your products and services, and then you share your reputation. Most practices don't do this, right? Because I've had people, I don't want to be on Yelp or on RateMDs or on Google Play, on Google for Google Maps with the reviews, or Facebook, because I don't want to give people the power to do that. I got news for you. They're going to do it whether you have it or not. You might as well manage it and control it rather than be subjected to it. And then your value. So what if, instead of building a multiple page website brochure, what if you build a single page funnel that was designed to convert visitors? This is the difference, and this is what makes it so revolutionary and so different, is it's all on one page, not a bunch of pages. So if you look at it, you have a funnel versus a website. And with the funnel, it's all on one page. And I'm going to show you exactly what that page looks like in just a second. And yeah, I know this is a vet. don't worry, I'm going to show you in a minute. I'm going to really freak you out because I'm going to show you an example of this, of the page, and it's going to be a landscaping company. But the thing is, the psychology behind the story blocks that we have stays the same no matter what the business, no matter what the industry is, because how we consume information has become the same no matter what it is. And having it in the format that makes it easy to convert it goes industry-wide. Website is multiple pages. In the funnel, your story is clear. You're telling your story in one place. With a website, it's confusing. You have the stuff on the first page, and you have an About Us tab, and then you have the Meet Our Team tab, and then you have our Services tab, and then there's Go Make an Appointment tab. They have to bounce all over the place. A funnel is user-friendly scrolling navigation up and down with a thumb. With a website, you have to navigate. There's lots of clicking. Even if it's mobile optimized, it's usually not mobile friendly. A funnel funnels them to take action. With a website, there's typically no clear call to action. A funnel, you can split test. There's no ability with a website. There's 6 to 10 calls to action in a funnel, meaning we always want to have in front of them the ability for them to get in touch with us. With a website, there's almost no calls to action. And even if there are, even if you've done a great job of putting the call to action on there that you want, they usually can't get to it very easy. And I'm going to show you why in just a second. Funnel is mobile friendly, 60% of all traffic. Most websites are not mobile friendly. Yes, our website is mobile optimized. Two different things. Optimized means they don't have to pinch and zoom to look at stuff. Friendly means it's easy to navigate with a thumb and they don't have to do a lot of clicking. You're able to track conversions with a funnel, and it's hard to track conversions with a website. So what does this thing look like? Well, what we've done is we've created something called a story block. It's a block of content that's critical to telling your story. And when you look at it with the green bars around it, each block has its own specific purpose. I'm going to show you how this works here in just a second. And the thing is, when it transfers over to a mobile device, it looks basically exactly the same. And the functionality, there's always a way for them to get in touch with you, because you tell your story with images, text, and color, and design. Remember, design equals trust. The women that distrusted medical sites was because of their design. So we put in the story blocks so it looks like this. So how do we tell your story? Well, it's easier just to show you. This is an average looking website on a desktop computer. If Monarch Dental, if you're on here, I apologize. This just happens to be one that I pulled up. And so to get here, this is about dental payment options and insurance. So this would be a story block on a regular website. Well, what does that look like when you put it on a mobile device? 60% of website visitors see something that looks like a tax audit when they view it on a mobile device. So it's no wonder why people bounce as quickly as they do when they start looking for information. So when you look at the Secret 21 story block formula, this is the pieces of a funnel page site. And I don't know why I need to change this slide so that it's not blurred anymore, because there is no secret. I'm going to show you all these things anyway. The title, navigation block. The thing is, I could talk through all these pieces, but let me just show you, because if you have a choice on how to tell your story and differentiate your brand, would it be website content versus story block content? Which one will keep them engaged and tell your story? One or two. Which one of those do you think is going to be easier for them to consume? A regular website or what we call a brand site? And the reason it's called a brand site is because it's keeping your brand in front of them everywhere they go and making it easy for them to take action everywhere they go, because that's what we want them to do. We want them to get that know, like, and trust us feeling to be able to take action. So it starts off where they come to the brand site, and even if you don't have a full-blown CRM, a customer relationship management tool, or a full-blown email system, it's okay, because with a brand site, typically it's built in, where as soon as they opt in, they receive a thank you, they get sent into the email campaign, but you or your staff get notified of that lead coming in. So let's show you what a brand site website funnel looks like. Very simple. It's in the story blocks. So we start off, and again, I know it's landscaping, doesn't matter. It's the same psychology. You start off with an attention-getting headline, attention-getting image, an attention-getting offer, and an attention-getting button. These are critical to be able to get them to take action. But not only that, you want them to be able to take action no matter where they're at. Now, the next part of this is where most websites don't have. It's your promise. What is your promise to the person that's looking at the information on the site? And so it's not like just book an appointment. I know that was one of the calls to action on the others. We want to work through and look at what is the thing that's going to get them to take the action. What is the biggest value you can provide them in exchange for them giving you their contact information? Because we can't control if they call us, but we can always control if we call and contact them, right? So as you review these pages, as I go through here, ask yourself, how does your website stack up? And when I say pages, remember, it's all on one page. So you have your detail of your services offered with images, another clear call to action, and then a client reviews with pictures of the clients. And I know, Jody, you're an online marketer. We can't do that. We have HIPAA compliance that we have to worry about. You don't have to worry about it because, no, I'm saying you don't have to worry about HIPAA. You're not violating HIPAA by doing this because you're only going to use the images from the people that they put online where they're leaving you a review about your practice. If they have a Gmail account with their image in it and they leave a review, that image is there. It's public domain. If they leave a review on Facebook or on Yelp and they have a profile image there, that's there. It's just you can feed it straight in, and you're not violating HIPAA by doing that because they are the ones that put the information online, not you. You're just sharing it. And the other thing you want to do is put the trust symbol of where they found the review. Next is another clear call to action. Short, easy to read blocks of text that highlight the best features and action-based imagery. You notice this zigzags left to right, because that's how we consume information. Again, I told you I was going to show you the whole thing here. Next is real photos of your team members. Make them feel comfortable whenever they come in the door, because if they've been to your website before they come in, that they see people and they see faces that they recognize. Also, don't put a picture from 20 years ago. If you don't look the same, they won't recognize you. Use regular images. Additional testimonials and reviews. If you have video testimonials, make sure that you have those in there along with the image of the person leaving the review. Another clear call to action. This gets a little mundane, but here's something that most of the time you don't see, and that is easy to read FAQs. If they're already asking questions or questions that they have over and over again about your practice, go ahead and put it there. Whether it's insurance, whether it's why do root canals have to hurt, if it's it's questions about like whatever your practice is, the questions people ask most often, go ahead and put them on there. Save yourself and your staff some time so that they have that, and then your location block. And the reason you want to put your location block is why make them leave the page to have to go find the map of how to get to your business, how to get to your practice, your hours of operation, all those things there, because the purchase-driven consumer is looking for 3 pieces of information: phone number, address, and hours of operation. That's going to come up again in just a minute, but have those there. And then a final call to action. Now remember, all of this is on one page. Why is that important? Because that clock, that 8-second clock, starts over every time they click to go somewhere else or go to a different page. Whenever they click on a link to go to a different page on your website, the 8 seconds starts over. The chances of them leaving increases the more times they click, the more times they have to leave. When they click the menu at the top of this page, they just scroll down the page. They don't leave the page. So the clock keeps ticking. The longer they're on the page, the higher the chances of them taking the step in order to convert into giving you their information. So that's from the website, the web presence and automation site. And actually what we looked at is funnels and automation. Now we're going to look at traffic. There are tons and tons of traffic sources. Also, as I'm going through here, this isn't just about me telling you all the thing about my slides. If you have questions, put them into the question box. I'll answer anything that you have. I'll answer anything on any different aspect of what we're talking about. I'll be more than happy to do that. And I'll also give you time at the end. So you look at all these traffic sources, yes, even a boomerang, right? That's about bringing your existing patients back in the door, is all of these things, but I'm not going to go into all of these because we don't have the time to do that. I want to give you something that and also most of these, a lot of them cost money. I'm going to show you something you can do right now that's not going to cost you a dime, that you can start making a difference in how you're listed and your visibility on Google. So visibility is about making sure your customers can find you, but it's also about making sure that Google can find you. You got to make sure you're listed where you need to be. Every practice should have, I tell you this way, I want you to interact with me here, right? And I'm going to force this. How many directory listings does your practice have right now? How many listings do you feel that you have out there? And it doesn't necessarily have to be on just the ones that are on the screen. How many directories do you have your practice listed in? Go ahead and put that on there for me. I'm going to wait a second. Come on, interact with me. Put it in there. Some of you haven't put anything in here for a while. How many directories are you listed on right now? All right. Western Dental says 15. Okay, that's good. Green River Medical says 11. All right. Anybody else? I'll wait. Come on. All right. Now, how many do you think you should be listed in? See, Vista Point says 7. All right. Every practice should be listed in at least 30 to 40 directories. Why is that? How many people are going to go look at insider pages? Does anyone ever really use City Search or local.com or Circle, Merchant Circle? Probably not. But you know who does? Google does. Google wants to see that you're consistently listed in all of those places. Not only that, you need to make sure that those listings are accurate. There is nothing worse than having 4 different listings and the wrong contact information on those directories. It drives customers crazy, and Google, because accurate listings make the customers happy and Google happy, and the more consistent they are, the higher up in Google you're going to appear. Here's the writer downer part. If you don't write anything else down that I've talked about today except this can help you get more visibility. Go and look at those sites, those directories that you're listed in. If you don't know how many you're listed in, go take a look. Look at the ones that you're listed in and make sure that your name, address, phone number are listed exactly the same, letter for letter, character for character. So if you're, okay, Vista Point put in here 7. So if it's, you have Vista Point Eye Care in the name of the city, let's just say you have Vista Point Eye Care with the name of the city on one directory, Vista Point Eye Care without the city on another, or and then your address is 123 Elm Street, and you put 123 Elm ST on one and 123 Elm STREET in another, or you're in a suite like Suite 102, and you put STE 102 on one location and SUIT 102 in another. Each of those are a different listing. Google does not give you credit for having multiple listings for your business or multiple citations. They look at them as all being different. Now, as humans, we can see those differences, but the spiders from Google crawl, and they crawl this, they're binary. They see 1s and 0s, and if the 1s and 0s don't line up the same, they put a red flag on it and kick it out that it's not the same. So make sure that those are in place in order to give you the credit that you need and that you should be getting for having the number of listings. So have you ever wondered, why is it that one practice has, I'm sorry, there's some dog trying out here. Why is it that one practice has less reviews than you do and they're higher up on the search engines? I'm sorry, hold on just a second. Typically because they probably have more directories. Let's see. This point says probably higher. I haven't researched it. Just thinking your review sites. Yeah, and you probably do have more than that. And there's tools out there that you can go and engage with. You can just do look for it. You can just Google online presence report, and you'll probably find a link that you can put your information in, and it'll give you a free report on that. Next is reputation. Why is reputation important? Because search results are like a shopping mall where every store sells the exact same product or service. The only different thing that differentiates it is reviews. So what do people look for? Well, they look for your star rating. We all know that, and it's very critical and very important that we have a lot of good stars. People like, I've got 5 stars on Google, right? Well, what do you have on other places? Then they look at the number of reviews. Are you going to trust Oral Surgery Implant Associates with a 3.8 rating with 10 reviews, or Downtown Dental that has 178 reviews with 4.9? And it's not just about being on Google or having Google Maps ratings. It's about everywhere that you can possibly have ratings, because Google is starting to pull those in. If you put the name of your practice in and the city you're in, it'll pull up your Google Maps listing, and with that, it'll also pull in listings from other sites. So it's important that you have a balance. The review on different sites, whether it's Facebook, Google, Yelp, RateMDs, any of the places that you can get reviews, you should be balancing those out. And you know how you get reviews? You ask. You ask people if they had a great experience, if they don't mind leaving a review, and then incentivize them to, you can incentivize them to leave a review. You can't incentivize them to leave a good review. And then they look at how you respond to negative reviews. But I get it. Most negative reviews are not fair, right? They're not fair because the people, whenever they misconstrue things, and what we want to do is immediately we want to jump to defend the actions of yourself or your staff. But the way that you do this is you simply say you're sorry. Not that you're sorry that it happened. You're sorry that they feel that was their experience. That as they can see, the other patients rave about your service, and please give us a call so we can handle the situation. Take it offline. That's how you respond. Don't argue with them. The other thing is a negative or missing online reputation can make your advertising work for your competitors, because they go find your information, they go to your website, they're never going to back up and look at what were people saying about them. Because did you know that right now, if you put in the name of your practice in reviews, it pulls up any reviews that can be found online? So how do you counteract that? Well, it's very simple. You can actually create videos of the reviews that you have. You can, I mean, it doesn't have to be complicated either. You can do a screenshot of it, make a 15-second video, just read the review and put it online with, let's see, put it online, with your practice name and the word reviews, and you can basically start dominating Google with whenever people look for your practice name and reviews, you can make those videos come up. So that's the next tip for doing that. Then we look at social, right? So with social, there are over 2 billion people online right now. 93% of them expect you, that they buy from, expect you to be on social, and 85% of them expect you to interact with them on social media. That's if you go, when you go to your Facebook page and a little window pops up and it says, it says Green River Medical typically responds within an hour or several hours or a day or 2 days or several days, and they'll even prompt you. If someone leaves something or asks a question or sends a message, they'll say, so-and-so sent a message, improve your response rate by answering more quickly. They'll even do that. So it gives local businesses the opportunity to connect with nearby customers. But one thing that most businesses don't know is that there's a viral strategy sitting right under the nose of most businesses that they don't realize yet. So here's another interactive point, and I know this is I want you to tell me, because the more you interact, the more you think about this, the more impactful it's going to be for you. Whenever if you have a Facebook fan page, right, a Facebook business page, a Facebook practice page, and most practices these days have 400, 500, 600 people that like the practice. Whenever you make a post, right, I could go into a whole long thing about how many times you post a week and all those things, but whenever you do make a post, what percentage of the people who like your page see that post? Take a second and just put a percent in there. Tell me what percent of people that like your page actually see the post whenever you make it. Come on, somebody's going to do it. All right, and I think there's a delay because a lot of these things come in. All right, Right Way Cairo says 20%. We wish it was 20%, right? So obviously it's lower than that. All right, Dr. Connie says 10%. If it was 10%, that would be great also. No, it's around 3%, 3 to 5% of the people that like your page actually see it whenever you make a post. So how would you like to know something that you can post that will show up in the news feed of every person who likes your practice? Well, here's the viral strategy. There's several of them, but this is just one of them. Changing your cover image makes it so that shows up in the news feed of every person who likes your business page or your practice page. And there's always a reason to change that every single month. Because this month is 4th of July. We're in Canada. I know you had Canada Day on Monday, right? That's why some of you are on here today. Tomorrow we have 4th of July. I mean, it's 4th of July everywhere, but we celebrate the 4th of July in the United States. Next month it's the summer challenge, the fall. There's always a reason to change it. When you change that cover image, it shows up in the news feed of every person who likes your page. Now, if they engage with it, or if when you post it, if there's something for them to engage with, If they make a comment about your cover image, that shows up in the news feed of all of their friends. The average person on Facebook has around 200 friends. So let's say that you change your cover image and you have a couple hundred people that like your page. Let's go low. Let's say a couple hundred people that like your page. It's going to show up in their news feed. 5 of them make a comment about it. That now means that 1,000 people that would not have seen that information, it's now showing up in their news feed. That means that's that many more people. Does it bring you droves of business in immediately? No, but it can start to make it go viral, especially the more creative you get with the cover images. Use it as from the standpoint of putting marketing information in that cover image so that it starts to make that grow. That's just one way, one viral strategy. There's a number of other things that you can do as well. So with this, we've talked about funnels and automation. We've talked about reputation. We've talked about traffic, and we've talked about social. And it's just about, just a little bit dabble in each one of those areas. So with that, right now, you're at a crossroad. And the crossroad is this. Like we talked about this from the standpoint of being able to take control. And that's one thing. I don't have anything to sell you right now. I don't have anything, and I'm not going to sell you a website. I'm not going to do any of that. I want to share with you a way that you can actually take control of the marketing yourself. That doesn't mean that you have to do it, but how would you like to be in a position of knowing what the best things to be happening for your practice would be? And I know whenever you start looking at this, it can all seem very difficult at first. It's like stepping into a cockpit of a fighter jet or of an airliner. It can be tough. That's why we put together a special program. I'm going to ask you if you're here. A lot of you have been here the whole time. Stick around to the end. You're going to be surprised how affordable what I'm going to share with you is going to be. Right? I said, I'm not trying to sell you any services, but I'm trying to position you so that you can take control of it yourself. We have a special beta program to get your website converting more visitors. It's a one-time offer that we're opening up to help practices like yours convert more patients. And see, funnels cost thousands of dollars to create, but we're going to underwrite most of that cost in helping you create a brand site funnel, right? We're going to help you create it. We're not going to do it for you. We're going to show you how you can do that. So what we have is the Healthcare Marketing Mastermind. That's why this is different. This is a mastermind that's going to give you the ability to have everything you need to create a dominating online presence. We're going to have weekly training sessions to keep you on pace, but also we're going to provide training for your staff with certification opportunities. The ability for you, so if you don't want to do this yourself, if you have someone on staff that wants to take over, that you want to be doing these things, which happens a lot of time, even if you already have someone doing this for you, it gives you the tools and the information to know if they're doing the right things for you. Because recently in Forbes, they've talked about why your most important business move right now may be joining a mastermind. Number one, there's accountability. To finally do some of the things that you may not have done before, doing. Regular connection with other members of the mastermind, other practice owners, other employees of the practice. Networks, there's networks beyond your own to tap into. It's a trusted circle of colleagues to help you make decisions, almost like having your own board of directors whenever it comes to making decisions of the next steps that you're going to take. A chance to learn from other businesses and leaders. We have 7- and 8-figure business coaches as well as practices that are part of the mastermind. Also, a confidential space to discuss challenges and problems, a laboratory to learn and experiment, and a reflection of your own wisdom and expertise that you can use to help others. So in looking at it, the next part of the mastermind is this. That's the mastermind. Everything else I'm going to talk about is the bonuses. We're going to give you access to our funnel building software. Remember I said I wasn't going to try to sell you a brand site funnel, but I'm going to give you the ability to build your own $2,000 brand site funnel utilizing the information and the steps that we have. Because we have the software, you go in there, the template's set up, you basically just change out your logo, change out a little bit of information, and you have a brand site. The brand site funnel, like I was showing you, instead of that one for landscaping, is for your medical practice. And with that, we'll give you access to our proprietary web funnel tool. You have complete control. You can go in there and do anything you want with it. You have unlimited pages. You can build 3 different funnels with it. You have the high converting funnel templates, the first ever drag and drop visual website builder so that you can have complete control of that. It's a drag and drop instant page builder. You can build websites, opt-in pages, sales pages, upsells, downsells. You can connect it to your order pages, or you can create order pages rather, integrations with iContact, MailChimp, Zapier. Even if you don't have a tool like that or a system like that for doing emails, our funnel building tool has the ability to do that for you inside the system and actually send the email out for you. That's around a value of $3,500 just for access. That's what people just have to pay for access. That's a bonus for this mastermind. Next is we do all the heavy lifting for you as well. With this bonus, we do all the hosting, all the split testing, reporting, SSL certificates, virus protection, and daily backups. So all of that is included with that bonus of the funnel building tool as being part of the mastermind. So we have that section. The next is a lead generation funnel. And with a lead generation funnel, what we do is we look at what is the best way to just generate leads. Now, Brand Site Funnel will do that, but you can also go one step further and make it even simpler. And then we look at developing the lead magnet for that lead generation funnel. Let me get this to go there. Whether it's a guide, whether it's a PDF, whether it's a report, and sometimes there's some one-page PDFs that are more valuable than a 50-page report. And we'll share the different ways of how to develop that for your business. And also, whether it's a discount for a new patient offer. And then we're going to provide you with our profit funnel framework. This is where the real profit starts to happen because it winds up being a 5-step funnel. I've set these up for a number of medical practices where you actually get people to go all the way through and become a paying patient and even go into a high level of paying patient before they ever even talk to you. So with that, with the framework, it starts off with a lead magnet where we get their information. We take them to a trust trigger, which is that low-end offer, like that $57 new patient offer. And then we take them to the actual core offer. And if I did this for, let's say I did an example for a dental example, it could be a lead magnet is how to get access to a $20 teeth whitening. The teeth whitening is for 20 bucks, it's teeth whitening, it's x-rays, an exam. The core offer is a cleaning because it doesn't do good to have teeth whitening without your teeth being cleaned. And then the profit bump is taking them into a savings plan for dental procedures. You could do the same, walk through the same thing with optical. You could do the same thing with chiropractic. You could do the same thing with LASIK. You could do the same thing with vascular surgery. You could do the same thing with plastic surgery. There's a number of ways to do that. Let's see, do you recommend creating a funnel in addition to having your website? Absolutely. Because the thing with a funnel is a website is okay when they find you organically. The thing with a funnel is that's where you want to send the majority of your traffic because it's usually, a website is good for your existing patients. A funnel is where you want to send people whenever they're new, when they're just finding you, because it's going to do the work of converting them into positioning you with your story for them becoming a new patient. Websites are great for existing patients. A funnel is the key for getting new patients. That's really the way to look at it. Some people say, well, can I get rid of my website? You probably don't want to, because you want to have a funnel for where you're sending new traffic, where you're sending people to. And that's one of the things that we covered in the mastermind are traffic strategies. So think of a website as being your brochure and a funnel as being a sales tool. And you don't have to think about it in the salesy format of that you're trying to, because most people, when they think salesperson, they think sleazy or slimy. You want to be helpful. You want to help them make the right decision. So we look at the lead magnet, and when we talk about helping you develop a lead magnet, it's not just here's a couple of ideas. We actually walk you step by step through identifying what the best thing is going to be, how to look at your customer segment, your avatar for your patient segment, look at how to name the lead magnet, how to position it, what the elements need to be, and we go through an entire process to help you determine the right thing, because throwing a free report out there is what most people do, but it may not be the best thing for you, depending on what type of practice you have, because like I said, everybody's practice is a little bit different. I know in general, they sort of are the same, but you have a different thing about what you do that differentiates you from the competition. So why not capitalize on that? And then with the profit funnel implementation training, this is where it gets really fun, because this is where we put the 5 profit boosters into place. We start off with the lead magnet, then we go to the trust trigger, like I was showing in that graphic before. The trust trigger is that low dollar front end offer that gets them to become a patient, a paying patient. Then the core offer, and with that, excuse me, Again, we go through detailed training on how to make sure that you have the right thing in place. And this isn't just you doing it by yourself. You have the ability, excuse me, I'm going to need a doctor here in a minute. Talking too much. All right, so walking you through the best thing for you, because everyone is a little bit different. It's not just, now the template is there, and you can go in and just change the logo and change the business name and the phone number and be set. But there's things that differentiate you. You have a different story than other people. Then we look at the profit bump, and finally the funnel stack, putting other offers in front of them. That can be the key to increasing profits. And then we have the reoffer campaign. If they ever fall out of the funnel, this is where we have a systematic where you have a systematic process in place to continue to put offers in front of them. With a reoffer campaign, it's basically all automated. You've already done the work of getting the lead. And so that's where the most of the cost comes in, is acquiring the new patient. Now you can continue to put things in front of them. And you can do it via email, voicemail, SMS follow-up. I did one, right, for a vascular surgeon, one email sequence, not even a sequence, one email. That one email, because a lot of times today, vascular surgeons are offering other types of services, right? In this case, this vascular surgeon had an esthetician on staff and offered Botox. We sent out one email about a special on Botox that created about $30,000 in extra revenue that month. So the reoffer campaigns, yes, even for medical practices. We have audiologists on here, we have eye care on here. There's a number of things that you can do to put those offers in front of them that aren't just about making money. It's about providing a next level of service to them. So those are the elements. Again, we have funnels and automation, traffic, reputation, and social that we'll be covering all the way through the mastermind. It took 8 years and over $10 million have been invested to create the success ecosystem for your business. So here's the components. I'm going to go through this kind of quickly. One, because you don't want to hear me continue to cough, which you're having to listen to anyway. Sorry about that. And the values that I'm putting here, these are what people pay us every day. When I say people, I mean agencies, because before this has only been available to advertising or marketing agencies to then go and provide to medical practices like yourself. The lead generation funnel, the lead magnet develop. When we look at traffic, reputation, and the social channel marketing, just having access to those are $1,000 a piece for the information that we're going to be sharing. Now, it's localgenius.com/med, and I'll type that in the box in just a second, but it wouldn't be fair to do this without telling you what it is for cost first. It's about a $14,000 value, but again, I said it's a beta program. So for the first month, it's only $47. $47, you get access to all the stuff we're talking about here. You have a month to look at it, to go in, to test it, to come and be on the calls. We do a weekly call. We do a call every week with the training to do that for just $47. Then if you decide to stay, it's just $297 a month, which continues to give you access on an ongoing basis to the funnel building software, to building those additional funnels and all of those pieces. So it's on me to make sure that this information and what we're doing is well worth your while. So if you've been on here this long, it's because there's been value in what I've been sharing, hopefully. And think about it, I've just scratched the tip of the iceberg with some of the things that we talked about. I gave you some very basically toddler type steps of things that you need to look at and do for your traffic, for your reputation, for your social, for your brand site funnel. And that's just scratching the tip of the iceberg. Like I said, we put together and do training for agencies that go out and do this implementation. Again, you don't have to do the implementation. This is a lot of people that I've talked to that have joined our mastermind have joined because they want to have the information to know that the people that are providing services for them are doing it the right way. I had a phone call, actually an email from a mastermind member that was, today is Wednesday, it was last Friday. And it was about, hey, how did they do this Facebook ad? Is this an Entrepreneur Infusionsoft trick? And I took a look at it and was able to send them a video back, a 5-minute video showing them how it was utilizing actually a Facebook lead gen form, and everything they did was inside of Facebook and how to set that up for their business. And that they would not have had anybody to turn to ask that question. So it's like having a a marketing board of directors for your practice in order to do that. And the thing is, and let me type this in the box down here, www.localgenius.com/MEDMM. Make sure I spelled it right. Sorry for the loud typing. If you cut out off 8 of my fingers, my typing would not slow down. The thing is, I've done this webinar. This is the second time this week. I did it yesterday. And right now there were 20 spots, but now we're down to just 7. And the reason is because I can't, it takes a lot of personal time, and I spend a lot of personal time with people in the mastermind. So I can't do this for 200 people. That's why we limit it very specifically to such a small number. So there's only 7 spots left. And if you're interested in this, you need to go, because it'll be filled up very quickly. Now, I'm so sorry. So if you have any questions, or put the questions in, let's see. I said I'm on vacation right now, but I'll discuss it. Get back to the office. You got it. You're welcome. So if there's a couple of questions have come in while I was doing this. The first is, when will it start? We start on Monday. Monday is the beginning. So Vista Point, if you get back, if you want to do this, you want to move pretty quickly. Other thing is, if you think you want to do this and you are on vacation, like I said, go to the link. It's $47. If you decide you don't want to do it, you just send an email and say, hey, I don't want to do this, and at least you have your spot reserved. So you can take that step. If you decide for any reason, anytime you don't want to do this, there is no length of term commitment, and for $47, it's pretty cheap. Somebody said, why only $47? Well, it's because that puts the mastermind within reach of the vast majority of people. So it's not too expensive for even the humblest, most struggling medical practice to be able to take advantage of. Also, anybody that's not serious enough about their practice to invest $47 into testing the mastermind probably isn't going to take the time and to use the methods laid out in what we're doing anyway. So that's why I could make it free, because I mean, we're not making a living on $47 a month, right? And the thing is we're actually offering this as a beta program and putting it in place to continue to expand. So it won't be this low, even at the $297 a month. Whenever we roll this out again, we roll it out to the next group. Also, if you're serious enough to put down the price of a dinner for 2, then you may just have the opportunity to be able to triple the profits of your practice, because that's one of the things that we see over and over again. The deadline, Pearland, the deadline is whenever it's full, it's full. Again, I've already had 2 people. I've got a little thing over here. 2 people have already joined on the webinar, so it's down to looks like 5. So I would go ahead, like I said, it's $47. And if you decide to do it today, and you decide, okay, the weekend's over, I don't want to do this, or you go on the first one and don't want to do it, I'll send you your $47 back. I'm not too concerned about it. Or I'll give you a second month if you know, so whatever. We want this to be a pleasant, rewarding experience for you first and foremost. So I said, suspend your disbelief just long enough to go ahead and take a chance for $47, and put the burden on me to prove to you that the value is there for you to want to continue. I can't be any more fair than that, and I take that challenge willingly, because I know once you get in there and see the information and how this can work for you, you're going to want to stick around. And if you don't, you just say, I'm done. You opt out. And there is no minimum length of time that you have to sign up for. I don't think we could be much more fair than that. So let's see. Green River wants to know, are the trainings recorded? Yeah, the trainings are recorded. Every time they're recorded, they're put into a portal for you to have access to. But when you do this, what's going to happen, and when you sign up, you're going to receive an email that's going to have a link to it to sign up for the weekly webinars. And then shortly after that, you'll receive access to the funnel builder software, along with a link to the training portal on how to go through and start setting those things up. Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's coming up on the weekend. You may want to wait until next week to get started. That's fine. We want to make sure that you have the information. Let's see. Do we need a new domain for the brand site funnel? Of course, yeah. I mean, you don't have to. If you're just going to run paid traffic to it, you can just use the domain that's part of that we have the hosting in there. You don't have to pay for hosting, but we don't have a domain service. And I suggest get your domain from GoDaddy. I mean, I've been doing this, for 10 years. GoDaddy is the best place to buy domains because they get on the phone with you. But yeah, you'll want to have a domain for your, excuse me, you're going to want to have a domain for your brand site funnel. And it can be something similar to what your website is. And, or matter of fact, the other thing is it may give you the opportunity to name it something that is keyword significant that actually might have a better chance of ranking than your existing website. I'm so sorry. I know, quit saying you're sorry, just cough and get it over with. Let's see, are there any other costs? No, the only other cost is, like I said, you might want to buy a domain name. There's no other cost from us to be able to be part of this, to have access to the tool, be able to do these things. Like I said, even if you don't have an autoresponder, there is a first step autoresponder built into the funnel building software. So whenever they opt in, it sends them the email. You can have it so they click the call. There's a lot of cool things that the funnel does that I didn't even go into, but it's very simple. Like I said, everything's in there. That's why we call it a brand site. Your brand is very prominent whenever you go into that. All right, let's see. How does SEO play into this? So it's one page. Keep that in mind. So if you have a 100-page robust website that you've been working on for 10 years that ranks on the first page of Google, it's not going to replace that, right? But the thing is, it is SEOable. It does have the ability for the keywording, for the titles, for the page description. Also, that you can put 10 high-level keywords into the body, which will you put it in one place, and the coding takes care of it in the back end for that to have happen. And we have brand sites that do show up on the first page of the search engine for organic results. It takes a little time for Google to index them, just like anything. But we'll talk about some strategies of what you can do in order to get items to rank on the first page of the search engines that will send them to the brand site. That's one of the things that we'll be talking about in there is, while if the brand site may take a little bit longer to rank, there's some other things you can get on the first page that will send them to the brand site, which is really what you want to have happen anyway. It's not about them finding the brand site on the first page. It's about them finding information that sends them to that brand site to then make the decision and determination to contact you. All right, let's see what else we got here. Do we get all the assets at once? You will get access to the funnel building software, to the training for the funnel building, but we're not going to just dump everything at one time. We've been doing this a long time. We actually do masterminds for agencies, and what we found is when we give you access to everything at once, it gets overwhelming. Now, you'll have the ability to go through everything within that first month. We're not going to go, oh, you're at the end of the first month. If you wait till next month, we're going to open the next thing up. We're not going to do that. That's kind of hokey, kind of douchey to do that. You're going to have access to everything within that month, but we don't want just going to open it up and dump it on you because it becomes overwhelming. The other thing is the training is done by me. Other than the weekly calls being an hour long, the training videos that I put together are not longer than at the most 10 minutes because you don't have the patience or the wherewithal to sit there longer than 10 minutes. So most of the stuff that you'll have in here is very quick to the point, easy to implement, step by step, paint by number, simple. So I do that intentionally because it just is how we get the best results. And it's how, as adults, it's how we learn in small bite-sized pieces. All right. Well, if this has been beneficial to you, even if it's not the mastermind, if you've gotten any value at all out of this, you would just let me know, put a 1 in the box and let me know that this has been worth your while. Like I said, there's a ton of you that are still here. We've been doing this for a little bit longer than an hour. So my assumption is that you wouldn't still be here if it wasn't. Skin Deep, I see that you had your hand up. I can't really, I can't unmute anyone because there's not a microphone ability to do that. But if you have a question, over on the right-hand side of your your computer screen should be the GoToWebinar control panel where you can type any questions in there if you have them. I'll be more than happy to answer anything that you guys have. Well, thank you for all of you who have been on here. We've got a couple hundred, so I can't really read all of the names off of here. And again, like I said, it's going to be filled up. I think we're down to just a couple of spots left. So like I said, suspend your disbelief just long enough to give it a chance to see if this is going to be the thing that can help you make the difference and turn your practice around. All right, thanks everybody for taking the time to be here. Let's see. Here we go. It just came back from, let's see, Hearing Well, London. So I just came back from Armenia, and I read it, the type is very small. Armenia on a mission, giving the gift of hearing in Armenia by giving away free hearing aids away to 1,500 people. All right, interested, trying to try a spoon of honey for my cough. I would, but I'm in my office and the honey is not near me. All right. Your brand is such, yeah, absolutely. And then we'll show you Hearing Well ways that you can not only keep that, but ways that you can actually increase it. How do the classes work? Do I have to be present, or the class will be available for replay? They'll all be available for replay, Skin Deep. Like I said, they're at set times, but every one of them is recorded, and the recording is made available within about an hour of the end of the session. The other part of it is, and I didn't even mention this, is you like I said, having the board of directors is you have access to me, right? And that's what, and like I said, you have access to me to bounce things off of. In order to, if you have, like, I'm thinking about doing this, this is what I put together. I went through this section of the training on the lead magnet. This is what I've come up with. Can I get your thoughts? I'm here. We have a full team of people that we can turn to. Like I said, whenever the question came in about the Facebook ad, I turned to my Facebook ad guy and said, hey, this is his question. Can you tell me what was going on with this? He actually put the video together for me to then send over so that the person was able to take it and implement it and actually put it in place and started generating leads within about 4 hours of me sending that over. So that's the other part of this, is you have access to a full team of professionals, of experts that you can get information from as well. It all goes through me because I have to manage how that comes through. There's not much of it that I haven't been exposed to some point to be able to give you an answer very quickly. So that's the other part of this, is it really is a mastermind setting where you have the ability and the availability and access to much more than just some training, right? That's why we do it this way. All right, I don't see anything else that has come in. Let's see, I hope your throat recovers. Thank you. Well, I mean, and it's funny, I don't have a sore throat. It happens from time to time whenever I do webinars back to back that it starts to do that, and it just, there's no, and so yeah, I don't have a sore throat. I'm not sick. I just have that little bit of tickle in my throat. So thank you, but thank you for the great thoughts, Hearing Well. I appreciate that. And it's cool that you figured out how to put in the thumbs up, the heart. It's funny, the little the logo that you put there, some people think of it as praying hands, other people say it's a high five. I don't know which it is. So, but thanks, I appreciate it. All right, thank you everyone. For those of you who for all of you, this is going to be our last work day for this week, but whenever the orders come in, we'll make sure those get processed. We'll make sure everything gets taken care of for those of you who are going to be joining us. We look forward to those who are joining. We'll see you on Monday on the first call. Like I said, that first email, I'll have a link in there for you to go ahead and get signed up for the series, for the trainings, and you'll have instant access to me and the team, and we'll get started and go from there. Thank you everybody for your attention and your time. I hope you all have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you soon. Take care, everyone.